It was not carved. It was not built. The lords of Driftmark swore it was given, handed up out of the black water by a king with no crown of gold, a seat of tangled driftwood, gray and salt-bleached, twisted into the shape of a high lord's chair. For thousands of years, the richest men in Westeros sat upon it. And then, in fire, it simply vanished from history. So what is the Driftwood Throne? Welcome to Westeros Within, where we journey into forgotten ages, hidden legends, and ancient mysteries. The Driftwood Throne is the ancient high seat of House Velaryon, the seat of Driftmark, that windswept island in the Gullet, where Blackwater Bay opens its jaws to the narrow sea. To sit upon it was to be Lord of the Tides, Master of Driftmark, the voice of the oldest sea blood in all of Westeros. It was not stone, like the high seats of other great houses. It was not iron, like the throne in King's Landing. It was driftwood, pieces of gray, weathered wood worn smooth by the sea, woven and twisted together into a single great chair. A throne that looked as though the ocean itself had grown it. And the Velaryons believed exactly that. Here is the legend they told. House Velaryon does not claim its throne was made by mortal hands. According to their family histories, the Driftwood Throne was a gift, given to the very first Valyrian lord by the Merling King himself, to seal a pact between the people of the land and the people of the sea. The Merling King, a god of the deep, a lord of the Merlings, the strange folk said to dwell beneath the waves. And the Velaryons were the perfect house to receive such a gift. They are old blood of Valyria, like the Targaryens. But unlike the Dragon Lords, the Velaryons came to Westeros first, settling Driftmark long before Aegon the Conqueror ever crossed the water. Their words say it plainly. The old, the true, the brave. So was it truly a god's gift? Or did some clever ancient lord simply gather driftwood from his own shores and craft a tale grand enough to match his ambition? The books never tell us, and that is exactly the point. For most of its history, the Driftwood Throne was the seat of a proud but minor house. Then came one man who turned it into the seat of an empire. Corlys Velaryon, the sea snake. Corlys was the greatest mariner the Seven Kingdoms ever produced. He sailed his ship, the sea snake, farther than any Westerosi before him, all the way to Yi Ti and Asshai, returning each time with holds full of spices, silks, and treasure beyond counting. Voyage after voyage, his fortune swelled, until House Velaryon was not merely rich, but the richest house in all of Westeros. Wealthier than the Lannisters of Casterly Rock, wealthier than the Hightowers of Oldtown. And the sea snake sat at the heart of it all, upon a chair of weathered driftwood, ruling a fleet that could darken the sea. But Corlys was too grand for the old castle of Driftmark. The ancient hall was damp, dim, and crowded. No fitting seat for the richest lord in the realm. So he built a new one, High Tide, a castle of pale stone, the same fair stone used to raise the eyrie, with slender towers crowned in roofs of beaten silver that blazed in the sun. When the tide came in, the sea swallowed the causeway and left High Tide standing alone upon the water, a palace that seemed to float. And into this shining new hall, Corlys carried the Driftwood Throne. The seat a sea god gave his ancestors now sat in the most magnificent castle on the eastern shore, the symbol of the Velaryon claim, the chair from which the sea snake would help shape the dance of the dragons itself. And then the dance came. When the battle in the Gullet was fought, that monstrous slaughter of ships and dragons in the very waters House Velaryon called home, the war reached the Velaryon shores at last. High Tide burned, the shining castle of pale stone and silver roofs, the proud new seat of the richest house in Westeros, put to the flame. And the Driftwood Throne? Here the chronicles fall silent. The records do not tell us whether the ancient seat survived the burning of high tide, or whether the gift of the Merling King was lost forever in the fire. A throne older than the Targaryen kings. A throne some called a god's own gift. And in the end, we do not even know if it still exists. So here is the question we leave with you. The Velaryons swore a sea god handed that throne up out of the deep. Do you believe the legend of the Merling King's gift? Or was the Driftwood Throne always just driftwood, dressed in a story too good to question? Tell us in the comments. We read every theory. And if you love the forgotten corners of this world, the relics, the legends, the things history almost swallowed, subscribe to Westeros Within. There are far stranger things still waiting in the deep.